Did you know that the apple cultivation in India first began in Kullu and not in Shimla, as many believe? This is the amazing story of India's first apple orchard. The year was 1870, and life in the Kullu Valley was beautiful. There were no roads connecting Kullu with the outside world, and no vehicles either. The valley was accessible only through high mountain passes. And those who rarely came on foot or riding ponies. At such a time and place, Britishers were the first foreigners to arrive in the valley after having taken over Kullu from the Sikhs in 1846. And among the first Britishers to settle down in the Kullu Valley was Captain R.C. Lee. A retired army officer, Captain Lee had come to Kullu in 1870 and bought land in Bandrol village near Kullu on the Manali highway. Captain Lee got himself built a house in Bandrol and started living here. He soon realized that Kullu was ideal for apple cultivation. The weather in the valley was just like back home in Devon, England. So he asked his father back home to send apple tree saplings. And the same year, he successfully established the first apple orchard of India. Captain Lee's innovative example was soon followed by other British settlers in the valley, including Captain A.T. Bannon, who had started living in Manali, Colonel Rennick, a big landowner who also owned the Gad estate in Bajara, and Willie Donald. By the late 1870s, a number of apple orchards had come up in the valley. But there was one big problem: how to transport apples out of the valley. Initially, Captain Lee and other growers sent apples in kiltas, the cone-shaped baskets made of bamboo. The kiltas were carried by hired workers all the way from Manali to Shimla, covering a distance of around 225 kilometers. But this turned out to be non-profitable to the apple growers. Then Captain Bannon came up with a brilliant idea. He decided to send apples through the parcel post. The postal department's route from Manali to Shimla at that time was via the Bhubu mountain pass. The apples were carried by postal department's workers, called mail runners. In the later years, when Kalka-Shimla railway track became operational in 1903, it became a little easier to transport apples. As India gained independence, most British settlers started leaving the Kullu Valley in and around 1947. But Captain Lee chose to stay back and married a Kullu woman. He died an old man in Kullu. The first orchard of India that Captain Lee had planted is presently owned by the Indo-Tibetan Border Police, and a part of it by a local resident. With Captain Lee dead and most British settlers gone, the story of first apple revolution of India came to an end in the Kullu Valley. But the second apple revolution had just begun in Shimla. Another apple pioneer was revolutionizing the apple cultivation in Shimla's Kotgarh village. In the coming years and decades, this man would become a household name and make apple the fruit king of Himachal Pradesh. His name was Samuel Evans Stokes, better known as Satyanand Stokes. Thank you for watching. For more travel guides and stories, visit thewildcorn.com.